Welcome to Remember 64, where this week we hit the racetrack with Diddy. Welcome back to the show, everyone. My name is David Petrangelo, and I'll be your host for this adventure as I collect, play, study, and discuss the classic console and games with you and fellow nerdy guests. That's right, this, of course, is the podcast where you'll get a short history and fun discussion about the Nintendo 64 and its games every 2 weeks. You've now entered level 6, where we'll be heading back to the racetrack with an old friend and his red baseball cap. This time we're playing and discussing Diddy Kong Racing. Stay tuned after our discussion for the nerd question of the day and all the results. I had lots of really great answers and probably the most responses I had so far in the show. I asked and stirred the pot just a little bit, asking you if you preferred Mario Kart 64 or Diddy Kong Racing. Of course, you can support the show at patreon.com/remember64show, where you can join in as player 2, 3, or 4. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me shape what the show is going to be coming up, choosing what game we're going to play and discuss next. You could also become a guest on the show or even get all of these episodes days early. For example, this one will be released on a Sunday, when on the regular podcast feed, you'll get it on a Wednesday. Again, patreon.com/remember64show. Help me build the show, help me build what's happening around the community and the Nintendo 64, and help me build my collection so we have more games to play and more to discuss. Okay, let's bust out the history books, everyone.
I'm learning.
It's time to head back to November 1997. On the first, one of the biggest movies of all time, Titanic, made its debut at the Tokyo International Film Festival, of course going on to win Best Picture at the Oscars a few months later. About a week and a half later, Disney's Broadway adaptation of Lion King sets a single-day sales record for tickets with over $2.7 million in sales. And of course, on November 21st, 1997, we have the North American release of
Diddy Kong Racing. Crash test it now wherever you get N64.
Developed by Rare Limited, the developers at the British studio had a number of big titles under their belt already, and a ton of huge content on the way for the Nintendo 64. You're going to hear myself and this week's guest talk a lot more about that later in the episode, so stay tuned for that. Early on, Diddy Kong Racing wasn't the title we know it as today. Speaking with Nintendo Life, back in 2014, Lee Musgrave, who was the 3D artist on the game, said that Pro-Am 64 was being worked on at the time and said, quote, "It had gotten to the stage where it was being called exactly that. The title screen was done, it had all the IP invented characters. We got to 1997 and it looked like Banjo-Kazooie was going to be the game for Christmas." We know now that that didn't last. Musgraves goes on to say in the interview that the Banjo-Kazooie team just needed more time. So now, what would eventually become Diddy Kong Racing was the holiday frontrunner. The team said that they didn't want to rehash what kart racing had done before. They wanted to do something a little bit different from Mario Kart. The assumption was that the new, bright, colorful approach, building off of what Pro-Am had, mixed with new and familiar faces, could really work. And of course, Diddy Kong was Rare's creation from the Donkey Kong series and became a fan favorite very quickly. The rest of the roster featured a host of brand new characters that no one had ever seen or heard before, including a tiger who is the surprise lead in the game's story. Again, you'll hear more about that later in our discussion. Rare has said in numerous interviews that despite the crunch of literally just a few months of redevelopment for the game, what really helped was that many of the tracks were already planned and created from the Pro-Am 64 days. While it still is a lot of work, of course, they now needed to update rather than build from the ground up. Well, behind a massive ad campaign to push the title to sell big for the holidays, Nintendo backed the Rare team, and it literally paid off. Diddy Kong Racing sold over 4.8 million copies in its lifetime, finishing 8th in the top Nintendo 64 sales chart. All right, Nintendo nerds, let's chat about playing the game and our memories of it. All right, everyone, as usual, it's now time to talk about playing the game, our memories of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. This week, again, I am so lucky to be joined by Neil from the GameCube Was Cool podcast. Neil, thanks for coming back, man.
Thanks for having me back, Dave. I'm really excited to talk again about more N64 racing games. I'm feeling a trend here that I'm only coming back for the kart racers. I appreciate that. I love a good kart racer.
I was going to say, you sent me a shot of some of the games that you have on hand, physically on hand that you enjoyed playing and have a hold of right now. And I just, Diddy Kong Racing just caught my eye immediately. And I go, you know what? I love this game. We had a great time talking about Mario Kart 64. If anyone hasn't heard that, we recorded an episode about that just a couple weeks ago. And then I figured, you know what? You could be the kart aficionado. How about that?
That sounds good. Like, we don't get a ton of great kart racers. Like, I really thought that after the 90s, we had the boom of Mario Kart, Diddy Kong, and it just didn't continue. Like, we had a lot of clones. Like, honestly, they're really bad, like licensed clones that Mike and I talk about a ton on our podcast, like the kart racer mode. Like, nothing ever came close to Mario Kart except for a select few, like Diddy Kong Racing, which in my opinion, we'll talk about this later, I think is objectively better than Mario Kart 64. We had Crash Team Racing on PS1, but since then there's really been like nothing remotely close. Some people argue the Sonic racing games are pretty good. I'm not a fan of those ones, but other than that, man, this was the time to be alive in the 90s with Mario Kart and Diddy Kong. So yeah, that's definitely in my stack. And I was playing it a bunch this week. I actually got a little bit scared because I dusted off my N64. I put Diddy Kong Racing in and it didn't work right away.
Oh no.
I was scared, dude. The console in the game are getting 25 years old. Like, it's no surprise, but we're getting to the point now where like these games are going to stop working. I got it working eventually, but if I couldn't play it there, I had no idea what I was going to do because there's no legal way to play this game really right now. It's not on the Switch service. I'm sure I could emulate it. I have the DS copy as well, so I probably would have just jumped over to that. But it's getting scary, man. Some of these games are just trapped on 90s hardware and they're dying. So, but it's in good shape and it works still. So happy to come on to talk about it.
Well, I'm glad you overcame the mild heart attack there.
Oh man. No, we can all relate to that.
Yeah. That is actually a whole other thing that we could get into in general, is just that, you know, unless you find this game for, you know, I think it's going out there anywhere between 30 to 50 bucks out there if you want the physical copy of it. And like, that's not pocket change, you know, like it really isn't, especially if you're going to grab a couple games at once. And really, like you said, legally, that is the only way to play this on your N64. And it's just wild and unfortunate because I really want people to experience a game like this because, you know, I realized jumping into it that, you know, it's a lot more unique and it stands it on its own from Mario Kart 64 in a lot more ways than I really remembered off the top of my head. You know, there's a hub world that you start with, and there's a whole bunch of different, like, you know, mini worlds and levels that you go to. And, you know, that's never been Mario Kart style, and that's totally fine. But to me, that seems fairly innovative. I'm not sure if you got the same sense of that.
Oh, absolutely. Like, after playing Mario Kart 64 to prepare for this show and then playing Diddy Kong Racing, the difference is night and day. Like, you play a race and then you get booted out into the hub world, which is already different than Mario Kart 64, where you play your Grand Prix, your 4 races. This one has you exploring this island, basically like a DK64 Banjo-Kazooie style island with characters on it that you can bump into and interact with. You've got the elephant, who's amazing. You've got the clock, like, to do time trials. Like, it's all just so alive, and like the characters come up to you and they present you with challenges. Like, that didn't exist in Mario Kart 64. There's hidden secrets around the world. There's balloons and like warp keys, basically. Like, it's all of these things. It just took Mario Kart 64 and broke it open and combined it with the 3D platformer at the time too. It really is a mix of 3D platforming and car racing, two of my favorite genres in one. So you said this game is 30 to 50 bucks today. That's a good deal. Honestly, like, this game is more fun than most games that come out today. So if you can find a copy for that, I would highly recommend it if it works.
If it, if it works, so, one, so you don't get a mild heart attack, and two, so you can play it after that.
Exactly. Yeah. Mine's in such good shape too. Like the prongs are all in good shape. The sticker is like brand new. So like I'm
Nice.
surprised, but it's just that inside battery and whatever else. It's just rotting
Yeah,
away.
that's
But
pretty much what it is. Yeah.
ah,
They're finicky cartridges, right? Which
yeah,
is, just something that all these consoles had to deal with, right? Like you're lucky you
yeah.
guys can just put in a small disc in the GameCube,
Mm.
and unless it's severely scratched, you're probably going to be okay and have pretty good luck with it. So
Pretty much, yeah. I've only really had a couple issues with a few games here and there. And what's weird is that the discs look completely fine, and then it just
yeah,
says disc cannot be read. It's like, what? Why?
there's
But
there's so little real estate on that disc, so it's like anything could make it
a
work
hairline
incorrectly,
scratch,
I
and it's the
guess.
end of the
Yeah,
day. And yeah,
one little piece of dust.
yeah,
Okay, so I talked a little bit about just sort of the overall setup, I guess, of the world and the levels. What about when you were younger? You have this. I presumably the way that you're teeing it up is that you have your original copy in your console. So this was something that you've had for a long time. What do you remember the most before you picked it back up again? What do you remember the most about this game?
yeah. What I remember most is that I don't remember how we got it. And we got it, like I said in our last episode, we got the N64 Christmas of '99. So at this point, Diddy Kong Racing was out. Diddy Kong was released in 1997. So my only thought is that we received this like at a birthday or like the next Christmas maybe, but like
Right.
honestly, man, those celebrations are such a blur because like it's all gifts of like you get your Beast Wars, you get a Game Boy game, you get a whole bunch
Yeah.
of Pokemon cards, and there's an N64 game in there too. So it must have been in that mix at some point. But I remember it just being like the other Mario Kart game that we played. Like when we got tired of playing Mario Kart, we would play Diddy Kong Racing. And actually, I don't have as many memories playing this multiplayer as I do. This is really like the single player
That's
kart racing game.
exactly what
Like
I was going to say too.
yeah,
Yeah.
like everyone wants to play Mario Kart at a party. You want to do the battle mode with the balloons. You want to, do mirror mode and Grand Prix and everything. But
Yeah.
this one is the one that I was like, oh, I'm just gonna play this one all by myself. This game has boss fights. Like I don't need friends to play this
Yeah.
game, right? So really, like I just remember playing this game alone, honestly, and just being so frustrated by the bosses because some of them are unfairly good.
Yeah.
Like mainly when I was a bit older, though. Like I think I graduated from Mario Kart to this game.
Hmm.
So I played this one maybe when I was 8 or 9, just before getting the GameCube. This was probably the last car racing game that I played on the N64 and was really hoping that there'd be a sequel or something on the GameCube. But thanks to Microsoft buying Rare, one of the first major acquisitions of our time, that never happened. We never saw
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing 2, sadly, and it's such a shame. I really wish Microsoft would go back to that. But yeah, after I got the GameCube, I really never went back to Diddy Kong Racing until I was in high school. My parents, a friend of my parents, were like dumping a lot of their old stuff, and like I got a CRT TV in my bedroom finally, like an 18-inch CRT tube TV,
Love
and I
it.
was like, finally, I'm 17 years old. I can play video games in my room on a TV. And the only game I had in my room for most of grade 12 was Diddy Kong Racing. That was the one
Wow.
that I decided to. I hooked up my N64, and I was like, Diddy Kong Racing is the one, and I instantly remembered the music. First of all, the music
Yes.
in this game is so iconic. Like I would
Yeah.
hum it at work, worked in a deli and a grocery store, and I would just be doing the little laugh and then the do 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 do. Like I love
It's
that
so
intro
good.
music. Dude, it's so good. Even like to a point where like I didn't remember where it was from, and I was like, "What the hell
Right.
is this? Diddy Kong Racing?" Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
It's like
ingrained, right? It's just
it's
there. Yeah.
it's so good. It's so good, man. I love that Rare logo and that sound and all the
Yeah.
characters and like who are these characters? Because like at this point we hadn't seen Conquer. I don't know. Was Banjo Kazooie out yet?
No, so that's the thing I was going to get into too, is that
Yeah.
as far as I can tell, there's technically only two characters that you can recognize in this. One, of course, is Diddy,
Mhm.
and the other is, now the name is escaping me. It
Is
is
it the alligator?
yes, the Crunch, the alligator, because
Yes.
technically he's coming from the Donkey Kong games. And
Right.
then in Donkey Kong 64, because he has like this vest on with the skull on the back and stuff, that
Mhm.
they've used that multiple times now, right? In other
Right.
games. Other than that, every other character here debuts in this game.
Yeah,
So
it's such a weird concept to like
yeah,
debut characters in these
it's
games.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like Banjo, the game was supposed to come out around this time, around the same time
Mhm.
as Diddy Kong, or even before, and it just kept getting delayed and ended up coming out the next year. So it's a debut of him. It's the debut of Conquer, like you mentioned, and the difference between Conker in this game and what a lot of people know him from with his games that followed this on Bad Fur Day, and I think the other one was Reloaded, I think it's called.
Yeah, it had
It's
another
based,
inappropriate name of some kind.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, right? But there's shooters, there's 3D shooters with boobs and alcohol. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like
ridiculous.
this is before Conker took up drinking,
Yeah.
basically. It's like he's like a cute little squirrel. And
Before he was a
Banjo kind
frat
of has
boy,
like a
yeah.
yeah, exactly. He's like a little kid, basically, just this cute little squirrel character. And
Yeah.
Banjo is like a bit of a redneck. Like it's kind of, I think it might be the only time you ever hear him really talk when he says his name. He's
At
like,
the
"Oh, I'm
beginning.
Banjo,"
Yeah.
like at the beginning. Yeah.
Everyone
And
says their name at the beginning, then everything
right.
else is sort of like the classic, like grunts and laughs and things like that when you get hit or when you pass someone. But yeah,
Exactly.
he's got this this southern drawl that I guess makes sense. I guess would fit the character. I guess
definitely.
so. But yeah, no, it's crazy how there's so many characters, and one I would say one is recognizable. I don't know that it's I don't think I made the connection as a kid that Crunch was from Donkey Kong. I would maybe say like, oh, okay, it's an alligator, I guess, but he doesn't really look identifiable as one of the characters, right? Like
like the alligators are kind of like just like a faceless. Basically, they're like the Goombas of like the Donkey Kong Country world. Like they're just like the thugs that you're like. I don't think of them as like a character. I'd be like racing as a Goomba in Mario Kart.
Yeah,
it's not like a character that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
They should do that.
Just
driving with his feet.
No, it's three of them. Like one's got the gas, one's got the brake, the other one's got the wheel.
It's like like Toy Story style with the little aliens. Exactly. Same idea.
That would be so good. But yeah, no, like just these random characters that we hadn't seen before. And I guess Rare had to like string together a bunch of these characters quickly because this really was like the hot video game of 97. I learned that researching for this show that Nintendo didn't have a Christmas of 97 game to put out. So this was the one that got the marketing buzz and the funding and everything. So Rare really had to come through. And I guess that's why Nintendo gave them Diddy to use. I think originally they wanted to use Donkey Kong in the game, or they were thinking about it. But
I think they were thinking about it. Yeah, exactly. But
what a different world that would be.
Man, well, yeah. I mean, like, and that's the other thing too. Literally different world is this game is just so different from other racers. It's so different from like just the setting, I don't know if you saw this when you're going through some of your research or just sort of brushing up on the game, is that I don't know if I even knew this when I was younger, but the story around this game is basically Home Alone. That's how I see it.
I didn't know there was a story until just today. Like I was today years old when I learned this game has a story. Like I knew that it had an open world or like this, hub world. I didn't know that it's.
Well, you don't really make the connection. You just sort of go for it, right? You're like, oh, there's a wizard giant pig, and I'm just gonna race and try and be first. Like that's all you need, really.
But they added a story. The one thing that Mario Kart has never done is they added a story. And
it's like,
did you want to?
Yeah, well, it's Timber, which is the tiger.
Mm-hmm.
His parents go on vacation. They leave him on Timber Island, and Whizpig shows up, and he basically recruits all his friends, which are all the characters we talked about, to try and beat Whizpig. Like, I'm sorry, but that's Home Alone. Like that is exactly what Home Alone is, except there's only, well, I guess there are multiple quote unquote bad guys because, like you said, there's boss races and boss fights, but like. That's what they do. They leave him at home in Home Alone, and he has to fend for himself. Yeah, he's doing it himself, but technically you're only racing solo in this. So
yeah, and you have to use gadgets to fight the bosses and beat Whizpig. You have to use your rockets and your oil slicks. Like it's very Home Alone-esque when you think about it. That's really good.
It's so funny.
Never put two and two together, and like you can completely miss the story like I did when I was a kid. You miss cutscenes or whatever it is. You just want to jump in and play the game.
Yeah.
And like it's funny. And I was also like, I didn't know that there were passwords or I guess cheat codes in this game too. Did you know that when you were a kid?
When I was younger, I think I realized that later. It was never anything that I was really big on in general in games. I never searched. I never really had guides or anything like that because I always just wanted to play the game. And then me and my friends would figure out the cheats, or me and my friends would figure out the ways to, cheat the computer or cheat the game or whatever. Right. So it was never really something, but I do remember there being some. As far as what they did and using them, that escapes me a little bit. I think because like you, I sat there and I just played the game myself and played it solo and just tried to beat the whole thing the whole way through. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, Rare was really well known for doing this. Like I specifically remember GoldenEye being the one with with the
Yes.
cheat codes. Like
Yeah.
you want to have infinite ammo or unlimited health or
Yeah.
paintball mode or big head mode or
Yeah.
fast mode. Rare. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
The Rare
Nice.
company who made the
Easy
developers
for
of
you to
this game.
say.
Oh man, the developers of this game, they were very like heavy on passcodes, and I
Yeah.
didn't know that they did it in this game. Like you can race as like big characters, you can make your
Mhm.
character small, you can have infinite like unlimited bananas, you can change all the balloons to red, all the balloons to
Yeah.
blue. Like there's so much different things that you can do with different passcodes. So like I would highly recommend, like there's so much replayability. If you haven't touched this game in a while, like go back and look. There's probably some secrets that you missed from back in the day.
Yeah, I was driving around the island earlier
Mhm.
today, trying to remember off the top of my head where some of the hidden balloons were.
Yeah.
There's one sort of off on the water, just off the island. There's another one, I think, underneath one of the waterfalls. Like there's all these
Yep.
little spots. Like, oh, I found it. Oh, I found it. How I
Little Easter egg
remember,
hunt.
I have no idea.
No.
I don't know, but I do want my fondest memory of this is still a solo experience.
Mhm.
I'm the same way. I realize that this is very much a solo game, which is not a knock on it at all. I think that makes it even more unique, honestly.
Mhm.
And it was trying to beat WizPig at the end,
No.
because what you do with all the bosses is you fight them, quote unquote, fight them. You race them once when you finish their world, and then you go around and you do another challenge collecting coins, and then you race them again, and they're
Mhm.
faster, or they throw more stuff on the ground for you to dodge, or all of those types of things. With WizPig, you kind of do the same thing, and unless you race flawlessly against him, you will not win. It
Right.
is so difficult. I remember, I think this might be like my primary, like, throw the controller on the ground, fist pumping to myself because I finally beat it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it was like a throw the controller against the wall, frustrating type of thing. I know I have the skill. I know I can do it. I know I got this down
Mhm.
pat. And I remember just finally doing it. And I don't think I ever did it again because it was
No.
that difficult. It's a really, really hard game. It takes a lot of skill. And
Mhm.
I don't know if you found the same experience, but I know, like you mentioned before, there's lots of items to pick up. There's rockets, there's boosts, there's oil slicks, there's all these
The
different types of things.
shortcuts.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
shortcuts and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's shields, I guess you can call them, that sort of go around the characters. I think in a way, correct me if I'm wrong, if you felt any differently, but I think that this game takes more skill than something like Mario Kart does
Definitely.
because the items are different.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with it.
That's it. Like your invisibility, like your golden star, I guess, is not really like a golden star. Like it doesn't speed you up or anything. It just protects you from other items or other characters around you.
Yeah.
It also only lasts for maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It's not
All the stuff
nearly
is
as long.
pretty brief in this. Yeah.
Very brief. The rockets aren't like green or red shells. You can get basically a red shell, but they don't go as far. They just go straight, and then whatever they hit, they explode. They're not on the
Mhm.
track for too long. There's no blue shell in this game at all, really.
No.
But there's much more strategy to the items in this game than Mario Kart because of the colored balloons. It's not like a random question mark block
Yeah.
like in Mario Kart 64. This one you have your red balloon, your blue balloon, green, and multicolored ones. I think.
Yeah. The multicolor one's like the magnet.
Magnet. Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets you the magnet. But if you collect one balloon, you just kind of get like your basic, your base level item. If you collect another balloon, then that item gets kind of upgraded,
It
like your missile.
upgrades. It's great.
Yeah. So
I
you can
love
either
it.
choose to hang on to that item
Or as the
wait.
voiceover says, power up.
Exactly. I love that voice announcer. But then you like if you get 3 of the same color balloons, now your item is like unstoppable. Like you have 10 missiles now,
Yeah.
or you have an extra big speed boost, or you have like this bubble that puts your characters in a
Oh,
bubble instead of like the banana
the
spin.
bubble is crazy because it like lifts you up for like 2 or 3 seconds. Like you're
Mhm.
screwed if that happens to you. Like you're
Oh yeah.
done.
No, absolutely. Even spinning out in this game is like, oh, I'm starting again. Like as
Yeah,
soon as
the acceleration's big in this game.
yeah,
It's big time. It makes a
yeah.
huge difference.
But it's definitely more of a technical racer than Mario Kart
Yeah.
is and was. Like I found that 100%. Like it's closer to Crash Team Racing than
Mhm.
Mario Kart 64. And I hadn't thought about this until now, but Diddy Kong Racing may be the hardest N64 game, or like top 3. Like I can't think of too many games on this console that are much harder than this, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you can go the easy way and just get the bare minimum balloons, but if you're going for all, I believe it's 47 balloons, and you're going for all the
Yeah, I think it is.
items,
Yeah.
47 balloons, yeah, and you're trying to beat all the bosses, get all the challenges, beat all the time trials. You're looking at like dozens of hours and a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
frustration, like you throwing the controller and like the boss fights in this or the boss races in this game. Like the characters will straight up laugh at you, like when you get knocked off or you know,
Yeah.
you start falling behind. I remember specifically the octopus's laugh
Yeah.
is like so ingrained in my
It's
brain
someone
because it's
laughing underwater, basically, is what
yeah,
it sounds like. Yeah.
it's like it's a deep voice, bubbly kind of
Yeah.
like whenever you get hit with a shell, when you get hit with like a banana or whatever.
Yeah.
Not a banana, but you know what I mean, a
Yeah.
rocket.
It's
It's just
what are they? No,
mm,
it's a mine. It's like a
yes,
landmine
yeah,
almost.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
mines,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But
That's the other thing too is about these boss races is that there's almost I found playing him. I played against him a couple days ago, the first
mm,
round against him. And I think it took me, 5 or 6 tries before I really got it down pat. But that's because, it was mixed with blue balloons, which is the boost, and the red
right.
ones, which is the rockets.
Mhm,
And you could go after the blue ones because you figure, oh, if I'm faster, I'm better.
mhm,
But there's almost like a better strategy or a different strategy. It's like a way to solve the puzzle to beat
mhm,
some of these bosses. Is that I
right.
ended up getting the 3 red balloons and making sure that I was actually behind. I took my time going around the first lap and just collected the 10 rockets around. I got
Yeah.
it 3 times and shot him like 4 times in a row. And then I was in
Mhm,
the lead the rest of the way. And all I had to do was race cleanly. I didn't have to worry about hitting anything. I didn't have to worry
right.
about shortcuts. And I go, oh, this is like there's like this crazy strategy in this game. And I just
Mhm,
could not believe that that's what this game delivered. And now
mhm,
I realize why I like it so much is because it's very much like you said earlier. It's very much like a platformer when you
yeah.
take those things into effect. And it really hit home when I played that boss in particular for whatever reason. I don't know why. I was like, oh yes, I got
Yeah.
this. I got
And you
this.
and you never get that feeling playing a Mario Kart game. Like I never get
Right.
that like, oh, I solved this puzzle. Like there are no puzzles in Mario Kart. It's just get
No.
to the end the fastest with whatever items you have. You never like rage quit or like quickly, maybe sometimes you do, but like you never like feel like you have to restart a race within 5 seconds of starting a
Oh,
race in Mario Kart.
yes.
But in Diddy Kong Racing, if you go off the track or if you have a bad start, you're starting again because you're not
Yeah.
going to win and you know it right when you start
Yeah. In
how that race is
half a
going to
lap,
end.
you can figure that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like if you're in last place after the first half of the first lap, you know you're not winning, so you might as
Yeah.
well restart. But in Mario Kart, you can come back from eighth to first in the last 10 seconds, and like
And
that's normal.
that's something I was going to mention too. The items obviously are different, which we discussed, but
Mhm.
rubber banding doesn't really exist in this game, or at
No,
least
you're
not
on
in the
your own.
same way. Like if you have a really good lead, as long as you drive cleanly and you don't make any mistakes or make very little
Mhm.
mistakes, you're good to go.
Yeah,
If you have the lead into that last lap and you race well the rest of the way, you're fine. You don't even need to like have these crazy items in order to make sure that you're in first, because if you have a lead, you have a lead. And that does
right.
not exist, at least in most of the Mario Kart games. And as we discussed a few weeks ago, especially in Mario Kart 64.
Exactly. And this game, even like if you are in the lead, the best thing you can do is just collect those bananas because,
Yeah.
like we talked about in Mario Kart 64, they did away with the gold coins. This game brought it back. Basically, like if you have your 10 bananas in your, I guess in your pouch or whatever, like you're at
Mhm.
max speed and you're good to go. And I love it because those bananas, they don't regenerate or anything. Like once they're all off the track, that's
That's
it.
right.
So you may only have 2 bananas after they're all gone. The only way to get more is to basically hit other players and then they drop 3 and you have to steal them,
Yeah.
which Mario Kart did bring back. But I think Diddy Kong Racing has done it the best, really. Like
Yep.
it was so cool. And like at a time when Mario Kart was not doing it, there's just so many reasons why it's better than Mario Kart, in my opinion. Like
I agree, man. I agree.
I'm preaching to the choir here, but like there's more tracks. There's 20 racetracks in total, which is
Yeah.
4 more than Mario Kart 64 had. You have vehicle choices too, which we haven't even
Yep.
talked about
Yeah,
yet.
that's right. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't
Like,
talk about
how do we get half an hour into this episode without talking about the vehicles? You can explore the island in the I love the plane, dude. Let's just get off the
I love
topic
the
there and
plane
talk about
too.
the
It's
plane.
so good. It's so cool. I love
Gosh,
the
the flight sim.
yeah, I love how I tried to perfect it this time because I know that I perfected it before when I was younger, but I couldn't do it just yet. But I did the loop. So you sort of
Mhm.
do a back loop, and then when your plane ends up going straight again, it gives you a small boost.
Yes.
So what I would do is I would do that, and then I would hit one of the boosts that's like the boost circles that's in the
The
air.
zippers, I think they
Yeah,
call
the
them.
zippers. That's it. They call it zippers.
Yeah.
And it would sort of give you like a double boost almost.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and I would just like boost ahead of 2 other people every time I did that. I couldn't quite do it this time. I think I've sort of lost the touch for it, but I know that there was sort of a way to game the system, so to speak.
But that's a strategy that if you knew to do that and you play that against someone who doesn't know that, you're going to win every single time. And yeah, like if you don't have that muscle memory anymore, you probably can't beat a lot of the flight missions now, or the flight races, I guess.
Yeah.
For me though, it was just exploring the island in a plane. Like this was basically the first flight sim I had ever played, minus I guess Star Fox 64. This one, like I love to just go to the elephant right at the start, get out of my car and get to the plane, and let's see how high I can fly, where I can go around the trees, through the waterfalls. How far out into the beach can I go before the game tells me turn around?
Yeah.
That was always the coolest thing. I just wanted to get in that plane and fly around and explore this island. And then the races as well. Like, bring it back again. Mario Kart 64. You were grounded in that game. You could only race in karts. This one gave you the choice of a kart, a hovercraft, which was pretty good once you got the hang of it, and the plane. Like those 3 options were so cool and just so ahead of their time for an N64 game.
Well, and that's cool too, is that if you did play it multiplayer, which like we said, we didn't necessarily lean that way, but if you did and you played with 3 other people, everyone could choose whichever vehicle they wanted on most of the levels. And there were different paths that each vehicle could take in that level, right? There's a couple I think that are only hoverboard, and there's a couple that they think they don't let the plane go on. But other than that, out of those 20, I would say, I don't know, 15 probably, or 14, you can do whatever you want. You probably have some disadvantages depending on which one but if you know those levels, that level, and that there's a shortcut with the plane, no way I'm telling my cousin that I know that shortcut. I'm using the plane and I'm playing that level and I'm keeping it to myself.
Exactly.
Sure.
And the first time that you play those courses too, like in the main game, when you're playing it when you're playing it single player, the game doesn't necessarily tell you that. It just kind of has you flying around this course. You're going through rings, you're flying through valleys, but you can see on the ground that it has speed boosts and it has ramps, and you kind of think like, can I race that in a car? And like eventually you go back and you can. Like it's like you can go back. There's so much replayability for this game that other racers even today just don't have. Like once you've raced them once, that's really it. But this game has secrets. It has 3 ways to race it, and then multiple shortcuts within those 3 ways. It just dissects and dissects and dissects. I wouldn't be surprised if some people find secrets in this game today. It's probably one of those games. Weird that it's in a racing game, but it happens.
But it's there. Yeah, exactly. Did you have a go-to character? We talked about him a little bit before, but did you have a go-to?
I did. Yeah. I really liked the turtle, actually. I don't
know. So did I.
I
love him. Yeah.
TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah. He's so random, but this is great.
I used to think his name was TikTok. Am I the only one? Yeah, I used to go for him just because
that's why he's not in any more games. The name was bought a few years ago. That's why
licensed now. Yeah, that'd be too difficult. And honestly, I think not even the clock was named TikTok.
No, the clock was TT. Yeah.
Does that stand for TikTok? I guess it
probably time trial is my guess. Is what it stands for. Yeah, or it could be TikTok. Actually, that's actually
There was a time when TikTok meant a clock, not an app. But anyway, he was always my go-to racer. Maybe Diddy. Sometimes I'd go with Diddy. And then if I was feeling like a heavy character, I would go with Banjo, just because I love Banjo. But in this game, I didn't really feel like playing with heavy characters. I felt like you were at a pretty big disadvantage, like flying around with this hulking bear in a plane. It just didn't feel right. So.
Well, the acceleration in this game actually, I think, plays a big part, because this is just me picking it back up for the first time in 20 years or something like that. But I found that when I was trying to figure out which character worked best for me, I went to Tip Top just so I could play the character that I remember playing all the time. And, I'm hitting a few walls more than I should and everything, but the acceleration at least gave me a chance to get back a little quicker. Yeah. And I found that to be like super helpful. Probably because I'm not the greatest driver at the moment, but it is what it is.
He's kind of like the Yoshi of the game. He's pretty balanced. Like he's mid-weight, pretty good acceleration. He's green, so that helps. You can feel like playing as Yoshi. He was always my favorite racer, but my favorite character in the game, and this is probably a little bit, I guess, controversial, is the elephant. Like we gotta talk about Taj the elephant, man. Like just this. It wasn't. We didn't think he was racist at the time, but my gosh, like that has not aged very well. That one character.
Not at all. Not at
all. He's one of the few things in the game that's like, if they ever bring this back as a remaster, they can't. Like they can't.
No, it's got to be. I don't know, Cranky Kong or something has to take his place or something. It's got to be something like
Toadsworth
that.
or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Something else from the Kong universe. But
yeah.
yeah, he's just like this Indian elephant, like on a flying carpet. He's got a
Flying
turban
carpet.
on.
Yeah,
We would imitate him when we were kids. I'm
yeah.
not going to do the accent here. I don't want to get you banned or whatever it is. But
No, we
he's
definitely shouldn't.
but he's up there as an iconic N64 side character
I
from a
think so
video game.
too. Yeah,
Like he's like Navi of the Ocarina of Time game.
yeah,
Like he's like your guiding character. He challenges you to races to kind of teach you how to use your vehicles. Like he'll race you around the island. He's very easy to beat. He
yeah,
brings you your golden balloons after you win races.
yeah.
But it's just the accent and the character himself have not aged super well. But like you said, there are a ton of characters from the Donkey Kong universe that if they do eventually bring this series back, and my God, I hope they do.
I know.
There are so many Kongs now that they can lean into. This could be like the Donkey Kong revival. Like there's, I
it'd
saw on
be great.
Nintendo Life a couple of weeks ago, they did like a ranking of the Kongs, and I think there were like 60. Like there are
Is
so
there
many.
really that many? Oh,
Well, when you bring
wow.
in like the games, the show, like that 90s fever dream of
Right,
a show,
right.
there's a bunch. My personal favorite, Lanky Kong from DK64. I
Oh
would
yeah.
love him to come back in a video game. He had the trombone. I think he threw
Yes.
melons or something. But
Yep.
my God, like they had 10 characters in this game. If they brought it back today, they could easily crack 50. No
Oh,
problem.
and it'd be awesome. Like it would just be so much fun. I mean, I've said for a long time that Donkey Kong Country 2 is my favorite game of all time, and just put anything, like just put Dixie in another game, please. Like just she's in the DS version of this game, but can we just get her in? Like she's not even in Smash. Like come on, like get her back. Like the Kong universe, like you said, is like it's so big now and so much fun that if they brought this game back, it would do gangbusters. I think it would do so well, and they could do so many different things with it because they don't have to say, hey, we're Mario Kart, here's all these Grand Prix and here's all these tracks that you recognize, and okay, let's go, here's the banana peels and the stars, let's go. Like there's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but I like an updated version of this game would, this and any Banjo-Kazooie thing would that's it. Just give me a new console with just those two games. I'm buying that console. Like that's all I need.
Dude, like right now the licensing behind Diddy Kong is so stretched between Nintendo, Rare, and now Microsoft. I don't know even what console it would show up on, Banjo included. I think that Microsoft plays well with Nintendo. I think that they would probably put them on Switch, but a Diddy Kong Racing sequel or remake on Xbox Series S or X or whatever the heck, I would buy that console for that game alone. Mike, my co-host Mike, he will tell you I bought an Xbox One just to play Rare Replay.
Oh, damn.
Came with Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yep. I mean, it's a really good collection. That's for sure. It's amazing.
I eventually sold my Xbox One. I still have the disc. Like I kept that game because I'm like, I'm going to keep this because this is like the coolest thing that could have possibly come out of last
It's on Game Pass. So if you ever get Game Pass and feel like playing it, and you don't have the console, it can play on a PC. It can play on an older Xbox, like One or whatever. It's there. It's there.
So true. So true. But this is the time, man, for Microsoft or Nintendo or Rare or whoever to come back with what they were doing in the N64 era. Like it's been 25 years now since we've seen a good Banjo-Kazooie game. We'll say we haven't seen Diddy Kong Racing. We haven't seen a 3D Donkey Kong game since the N64 era. Like bring those three back. Like that trilogy, that combination that made N64 so good, and what like let Rare basically save the N64 back in the day. Because if Rare wasn't around to support this console, we would not be talking about the N64 the way that we do now. Like Nintendo was supporting it with Zelda and Mario, and I guess that's about it. Pokemon. But Rare was coming out with the other bangers like Diddy Kong and Banjo and GoldenEye and Perfect Dark.
I was going to say GoldenEye is like, even if you never got into the, these types of games, you just have to say GoldenEye to someone that has experience with N64 and be like, oh, they made that? Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, you're right. Those games alone, they're all in the top 10 to 15 sellers of this console. Without them, that list gets cut in half. Like it literally gets cut in half. And that's unfortunate, really.
Exactly. Like you could arguably own an N64 and only buy Rare games, like not buy a single Nintendo published and developed game, and probably still have an amazing time. Like,
absolutely.
Not missing. Like you'd be missing out on some pretty good games. Not gonna lie, but like you could still arguably say like the N64 is my favorite console, and I only played Rare games. I can't think of another console, maybe the PlayStation 3 with Naughty Dog, but I can't think of and that's Sony's, that's PlayStation's first party studio.
Right.
But I can't think of another console where a third or second party developer saved the library. Like it never happens, and it hasn't happened since.
And you know what? At the time, I don't know if that was as obvious, but definitely when you look back at it and you look at the sales numbers and you just look at the quality of the games, even if the sales numbers are not available, let's say we just didn't know, and you just look at these games, how much fun you had and how well they were made and everything, you go, well, Rare is, aside from Nintendo, which, okay, fair enough. Rare was the 64. Like that's, I totally agree. And I am fine 100%. With saying that. Like, it's exactly what it was.
100%. They knew how to make games, man. And they're British too. So no surprise there. They know how to make games. I'm really sad that Microsoft bought them, because since then they're just a husk of what they used to be, man.
It's none of the people are the same, which, happens over time, no matter who you are, but it's true. But you know what? If they have a way to make these happen, like you said, then that's it. We're first in line. So,
if someone could come out with a Diddy Kong Racing at some point and bring back all of these things, bring back WizPig, bring back the Home Alone plot, bring back TikTok, bring back some kind of, maybe make a reference to the elephant, but don't bring him back exactly the way you did.
Maybe he's a statue or something. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, or a bonus character or something, like whatever. Just
exactly.
That's it. Yeah,
exactly. Would love it. But
all right, Neil, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the gush session on this game. I absolutely love it. It is still one of my favorite racers of all time. And I am now, I think 29 balloons into it. So I am now sucked in, and I'm going to try to complete it. I really don't think I will, but I am going to try.
My God, take some Tylenol, maybe book a therapist session for when you're done. That is one heck of a, you're halfway done though. So that's
halfway.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, halfway within a week, so it's not too bad. Yeah, it could have been worse.
You're playing on a classic N64 with the controller, right? Like the way God intended.
That's it. I'm doing it. I'm making it happen. Yeah.
I was doing the same. I have the same setup, and I was playing it without volume on. I guess I was just trying to be quiet or something. And man, that controller, my joystick is squeaky. Like it
mine
sounds
is too.
cheap.
Mine is so. I don't know why I noticed it when I was playing this game too. It's just.
Yeah, was that a thing? Has it always been like this, or is this just age? Like I'm getting squeaky too, so I guess that's just
we're all getting squeaky. I'll tell you right now, my back is definitely squeaky. I know that.
We all sound like N64 controllers someday.
Exactly. All right, Neil, I appreciate it. Before I let you go, where can everyone find all the awesome stuff that you guys are doing?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Neil. I'm one host of two of the GameCube Was Cool podcast. We're a weekly show. I co-host the show with my best friend Mike Lane. We record the show from Toronto, Canada. We're a weekly show every Thursday on all the major podcast services. We talk specifically about the GameCube. We're going through the GameCube's library. We've been doing this now for almost 2 years. So at the time of this recording, I think we're about 400 and I was going to say 420, but we're not quite there yet. Like 418, I think we're at. 18 games of the 555. So if you haven't heard of us before, come on over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. We're all over that. We've covered a bunch of games already. We've done Double Dash, we've covered Melee, we've covered Pikmin and Wind Waker and Animal Crossing and Metroid. There's still a lot of first-party games to go and third-party games. So yeah, come on over, check us out. We'd love to find some new listeners, and hopefully we'll have Dave and Mike from back in my day on the podcast again soon. We've had you guys on at least once before, so we'll have to have you guys back real soon. Because
the last one we jumped on was talking about Tom Clancy games and Splinter Cell and all that. So I don't know if you're the Kart aficionado now unofficially on this show. So I don't know if we have any consistency on your show, but we can be an aficionado on something if you need it.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not going to do another Tom Clancy episode,
but stealth or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm trying to think what other stealth games do we. I don't know about that. I think we're pretty much. That's the thing, man. Like when we started this, we're like, oh, we got so much time. We got all these games, and now we're getting to the point where it's like, man, we're getting close to being done. This project.
Man, it's an impressive number. You guys have covered a lot of ground. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're coming up on episode 100 in 5 or 6 weeks. So
awesome.
It's crazy how quickly I love this hobby. Like it's a ton of fun. So glad to grow and find new friends. Like we've never met in person, but we love coming on your show and love having you on ours too. It's really cool.
Awesome, man. Well, we will touch base soon, and thank you, Glenn, for being on the show. Okay, let's dig into the results of the nerd question of the day. As I mentioned earlier, I stirred the pot just a little bit this time, giving a this or that type question if you preferred Mario Kart 64 or Diddy Kong Racing. While they are not the same game, as you just heard us talk about, every once in a while they're discussed as similar, or at least they're both kart racers, so it's understandable that there are discussions of which one you might like better. Now, it's really just personal preference, of course, and thankfully there were no big heated arguments, and that's what we want to see, a nice, healthy, fun discussion online. I had too many responses this time to name everybody, so I apologize for not giving you a call out on this episode, but out of the 40 plus answers that I got across TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, to my surprise, Diddy Kong Racing received 72% of the vote. So this time, the quote-unquote winner is Diddy Kong and his gang. So thank you for giving me your answers. Thank you for having a nice, healthy, and fun discussion online. Stay tuned next time. The nerd question of the day is right around the corner for the next episode. Thank you, everyone, for joining myself and Neil for level 6 of the podcast. As I mentioned off the top of the show, patreon.com/remember64show is where you can help me build a collection and this show and share my experiences with you. It also gives you a chance to be a part of the show, and you can even get all of these episodes days early. You can always email me at remember64show@gmail.com and find more videos, photos, and fun collecting shenanigans. And of course, the nerd question of the day on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All of those at remember64show. Until next time, stay pixelated, my friends.